South Canterbury farmers Alvin and Judith Reid started out as share milkers in 1978 near Mosgiel. 3 years later, they bought their own dairy farm. Since then, they've expanded their farming business, milking their cows conventionally. Around 2000, they bought dry stock land in Pleasant Point and recently converted this property to allow for a robotic dairy system to be installed.
It's 130 hectares roughly of grazing land, river flats, all fully irrigated with pivots now. We converted it 2013 to dairy from dry stock. We've had it about 12 years. First year on the robots, we just milked 400, so mid-season we got going. This year we've been 485 to 500 cows, and that's about its limit. Back in the early 2000s, I was on the Dexel board, which is the Dairy NZ predecessor, and we did the trials there, Jenny Jago and Lake Murray-Wolford, on could we get cows to voluntary travel from pasture to get automatically milked, and they proved you could. And I guess that caught my attention. It was fascinating years, those trials on the Dexel board. And we've always been interested in that sort of technology, and when we converted this, we decided let's have a go at putting a robotic system in. I've always liked challenges, and this was the most challenging project I've undertaken in 35 years of dairy farming, and the most rewarding and satisfying. This type of farming, it's far more flexible. We've had to completely change our thinking about running a dairy farm. What I understood in conventional dairy farming, rethink the whole thing. You know, we were told early on the piece it's harder to change the farmer than the cow, and I think that's pretty good advice. Everything we understood about conventional dairy farming, we've had to go and rethink. We spend a lot more time sitting, thinking, the manager and I in front of the computer. How do we outsmart 500 females down the paddock? It's a real challenge, and it's been just exciting. Yeah, those lighter cows, I guess as you identify them, put them on 16-hour milking, which will give them one milking a day. The benefits from this VMS system, I think will show up in production. Mind you, production is a large factor of feed, but cow contentness, the cows are different animals. They're just so docile. For example, we've had 3 sore feet for the whole season out of 500 cows, and that's pretty uncommon on conventional dairy farming. And it's because the cows just take their own pace, their own time, doing everything around the farm. I think that the big factor of this farm will be herd longevity. I'm convinced as long as we can get the cows in calf, and we generally have no problem doing that, we'll see an extra lactation out of these cows on average. And I think that will show through strongly in profitability then. Getting the thing up and running was a challenge. I spent the first night here getting plumbing finished until early hours of the morning, so I slept on the sofa. The next night my wife had a bed here. So we spent 6 weeks sleeping here. And that's just to get the thing running. This was mid-season. We had the 400 cows had been milking for 3 months that we milked the first year. And our recommendation from D-Level was we'd like to see someone there 24 hours a day for 10 days. We took that to 6 weeks, and just getting cows moving at night time. So I guess these things are as successful as the effort you put in. And we've had 2 fantastic staff. Our manager, Reese, and Felicity, who works here, have both been absolutely superb. They've taken absolute ownership of the whole process, and that's the secret to it.
Probably the biggest challenge is your pasture management and care flow, getting them consistently coming up, at different intervals. Take that herd mentality out of them. A lot of it's based on your feed. If you allocate them far too much, well, they won't come out of the paddock. They tend to just lie down there and gorge themselves and then camp. But and then on the other hand, if they're not getting enough, the whole herd will come back up again. The milking permission's generally set at 8 hours, so if they come to the shed, their EID tag is red, and whether or not they have milking permission, it goes decides from there where they go. If they have got milking permission, they get sent to the shed, and if they're under 8 hours, since they've previously milked, they just get sent down to the new pasture that's open for them. If they're down in the new pasture, they may be down there for a couple of hours, and pressure of the udder, feel like they need milking, so then they can wander back up to the cow shed, get milked, and it'll send them back to that same pasture. So basically the pastures are worked on every 8 hours, a new pasture opens up for them.
This screen here is just an overview of the farm. The way this farm functions is a three-way grazing system. So, out here we have Block A, Block B, and Block C. So you're really running the farm as three farmlets. At the moment we're on a 30-day round on each farmlet, and this 3 feeds of grass a day is what drives the whole farming system. The main thrust of our sensor setup here is live cameras. We can view the whole farm, and we've got cows coming up from their C block where they went last night. They're drafting through, going down to B block. So 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning's gate change, and as cows come up, they'll get, if they're due to be milked, they'll get milked. If they're not, they'll get sent down to the new pasture. The robot's sitting in a semicircle. Worldwide, robots sit in straight lines. I said right at the start that automation, think circles. So easy to automate things in circles compared to straight lines. So we sat them there. It took a bit of convincing the people who approved the plans that circle was the right thing. It's worked fantastic, and it just happens. The holding yard at the moment is quite full this time of day. With the dry and our shortage of feed at the moment, we're getting a different behaviour in cow traffic. And so at this time of morning, we've got a lot of cows that have been more than 12 hours since they were milked. We're not getting a lot of traffic during the night at the moment. So we let 40 cows into the waiting yard plus 20 in the special needs yard. After that, we divert them into the holding yard, and they just go round and round until there's room in there. That cow's decided she's not going to leave in a hurry. There's the next cow come in and give her a nudge out. If you're interested in this type of technology, get out and have a look. I had great support from Dairy NZ, from the Jenny Jagos of the world, and from De Lavelle, some of their technical experts, and other companies have got their experts too. Get out and have a look at operations working, talk with farmers that have tried it. It won't suit everybody. If you like everything in order, and you know where your cow's going to be every minute of the day, forget about it. It's some days we describe it as organised chaos.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.